Oh, okay. There we go. Hello there. Why, hello there. I have some videos to play. I think there's only like an hour left, maybe less, of that Antichrist video. It's actually very short. I can't say I was surprised by that because I went looking for just a small handful of audiobooks, and it's like 7 hours, 9 hours, and it's like 4 hours. Well, and then Antichrist was like it's like 3 hours and I think 10 minutes. It's like, oh, okay. Hey, I can do that. I'll start with that. I think Beyond Good and Evil is the book, not the game. Is I think that's 7 hours. There's also a couple Cormac McCarthy books, so I put that on the list. But hey, before that, I got a thing. Oh yeah, a couple Alyssa clips. Of course, I wasn't gonna play any, but I mean, she just posted some. And it's like, well, I'm gonna play them. Hey. First things first, though. A little break to get my sweet tea out of the fridge. So let me do that first. Rah. Okay, and also, the here, you know what? I'll just start playing it, so it's playing while this is loading.
In the priest, revealed by a glance at him, is a phenomenon.
Well, hold on a second. That's the wrong video. I clicked on it. I don't know. Let me just. You know, I'm gonna just play it manually. Look, so I have to get up.
The difference in reality versus public school. My son just went to this apologetics conference. He's talking to me. He's 15. And he's like, hey, Dad, the other night he was telling
hey, Dad, why are
Lady
you
Rackets about the conference, but I had to leave. I had to go do something. So I didn't get to hear about it. And he's like,
get to a gay
bar. I was like,
bar.
I want to hear about this thing that you went to go do, because let me be clear. I'm a Christian, but I'm a lawyer
war
and I'm an asshole. So like when I hear apologetics, Christian apologetics in particular, I am immediately skeptical, because apologetics is not a search for truth. Apologetics is a search for answers to questions. That is not the same thing as finding truth. It is the same thing as finding a proof text or a source to match the thing you want, and then assertively professing its correctness.
You're gay.
There's value in apologetics. It's a persuasive argument, but it does not necessarily mean truth. That being said, I'm like, I do want to hear about it, because I always love to hear what contemporary Christians are telling children. And we're driving today. He's like, Dad, you wanted me to tell you about this conference? I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. And he goes, okay, well, I missed the first part. I'm like, why'd you miss the first part? He was like, well, our bus was late. I was like, oh, you didn't miss the first part. All of you did. Okay, great. And then he's like, then we talked about transgenderism. And he goes, because they have to talk about the hot topics, you know? And I was like, that was the dorkiest thing you have ever said. But then he starts telling me about how, like, he's like, look, there's two pillars that support transgenderism. It's cultural and it's scientific. And if you put either one up to the test, they're knocked down immediately by both faith and by science. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't do. So here's my thing. Like, obviously, transgenderism is a thing that is not a truth. Transgenderism is it's a choice. It's an identity, whatever you want it to be. That's like, I'm a libertarian. I don't care what you do with your body. But don't come at me and be like, I was born a woman. It's like, well, no, you were born a man.
Don't teach my 6th grader or my 5th grader that a man can have a baby, and don't teach my child any of this shit that is actually your religion. You're not allowed to impose your religion on me. This is a belief system. It's nothing else but a belief system. You can have it, you can live it, but don't you dare come and try and put it on my kids.
Exactly. And this is what I'm talking about, though. Real quick, Dapper Dave says that's not true. Christian apologetics is extremely important. Do not mistake my logical criticism of Christian apologetics as being unimportant. God is not a logically sustainable conclusion. He is not an evidence-based conclusion. That's why faith is the most integral part of the Christian foundation, is that you have to look at...
It's actually kind of similar to the Nietzsche book, except Nietzsche, I think, had a more interesting conclusion and more interesting language. So just saying that they were stupid. They were old and busted. Dumb, stupid morons, basically. I think that's... I can sum up the whole of Antichrist by Nietzsche by just saying Christians dumb and stupid. That's basically his whole point.
Society, you have to look at everything around
Buddhism
you and
good,
you go,
apparently.
Logic doesn't get me to this thing, because if logic ruled, I'm fucked. But logic doesn't rule, because faith in a compassionate and forgiving God defies all logic. It says there's all these rules, and you will fail at every single step of every single rule. You
sure
cannot be good enough.
You're telling me.
And yet, in my compassion and my love for you, I will say, welcome home. This is a product.
It sort of reveals the desperation of Christianity, the innate desperation of how Christians have only sort of resorted to Christianity because otherwise, like, oh, without that, I'm fucked. It's like, is that your primary motivation for being Christian? Is like, well, if, you know, like if you were a Christian because if God wasn't up there, then you're fucked. Apparently. I mean, but it sort of cancels itself out, doesn't it? And that's also kind of what Nietzsche was talking about, is that their beliefs are sort of self-canceling. Something. I mean, hey, that's his opinion. Oh, sweet, I can dual wield these. I have some at home, though. I have a TT-33 at home. This flashlight setup I got here, wonderful idea. Except for this, the red light here kind of puts me off. I can't turn it to green, though, because it's just going to turn itself back to red. Which is fine. Those should be... There should be red lights up there, and I have a feeling I just have to get close. Yeah. Starting to see them. Oh. Wow, this is a really big pistol. Okay, well, it's a really big pistol. Okay, there. Anyways. Stupid. I'm sorry, not Petro. I'm not going to apologize to Petro. When Petro ain't here, Petro went away. This is a bizarre... I mean, you know, it makes sense. It's not going to light up this area, of course. It's kind of pointless. You know what? Just going to get rid of these. I mean, I could place these somewhere else. But the question is, why? Why? What is the difference? And the soundboard not working today still. It's some kind of weird Steam issue. Somebody else mentioned that they had it. Same problem. Not just with Steam, because I was using the backdated version of Steam, and I actually went back to the current version of Steam VR. I mean, and it's still doing it. So it's not an issue with it. I didn't think it was. I think it's just something to do with Steam, where it's considering SoundPad to be a game. So if you try and run another game, it closes SoundPad when it never did and is not supposed to. Same way that OVR Toolkit or OVR Advanced Settings is supposed to run during a game so that it helps you out with games. That's what this thing showing up at all is because of OVR Toolkit. This is part of OVR Toolkit. Wonderful. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm looking for a blank, was it? Okay, so it should be... Uh-oh. I heard that. Better read. Yep. I knew it. The game save blocked my shot there. I would have hit him if... who cares? Anyways, you may also notice, if you care at all, which there's no reason to, but in the lower right there, a different pose, one that I tend not to use. I prefer the shut up bitch one. But Nopeful, who made the little drawing doodle things for the PNG tuber thing, he did a few variations, and I tend not to use any of them because you only need the one. But I thought, you know what, switch things up every time. Okay, dead ahead. Fucking these things. Oh wait, there's a thing right there. Wait. Aha. Wee. Okay. Yay. Oh, yes. Yes. That'll save me an entire $1. Wow. Okay. Oh, there's another one out there. Let me play more of this. To be honest, I don't even feel like listening to Ricada clips. The other clips, fortunately, are Null, which is only marginally especially since he's been he's being a big cheese faggot, as Nick Mullen would put it. What am I? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm looking for an artifact. Okay, these are over. Oh, okay. Nope. Whoa. There we go. This is all I need. That was too close. Oh, there we go. Is this steps? Perfect. I think I can remember my way back in here. Wow. Oh shit. Whoa. Almost walked right into that. Oh. Ha. Ooh. Hi. Yeah. Oh shit. No. No, you don't. No. Owned. Oh shit. Yeah, give me that money. Give me that grip. Grip. Ah, San Andreas was a wonderful game. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh yeah, let me play this gay nerd, gay old boomer.
Prodigal son story. It's not the prodigal son
lawyer,
story, though.
not boomer.
It is the every parent
He's gay.
story.
He's gay.
Your kid does not need to run off and spend their inheritance on whores and drugs for them to come back and you to embrace them. Your kid goes to college. Your kid makes a mistake. Your kid gets fired from his first job. Your kid gets a divorce. And they say, Mom, Dad, I'm trying. I'm 28 and I don't know what to do. I spent all my money trying to make my marriage work. And now I can't afford rent. I can't afford anything. You go, come home, you idiot. Get in this fucking house that I built for you. I built a shelter for you until I'm dead. And then I'm going to give that shelter to you because you might need it after I'm dead. That's parenting. And it's also marriage. And it's every relationship you have. Every relationship is the unconditionality of it is based on this Christian idea that you will never, ever be good enough. In the face of all logic, you will fail. But in the face of faith, grace, and love, you succeed because the other party has compassion for you. And we're taught how to treat everybody else through that. Christian apologetics is this weird place of trying to
He's going there.
argue for that thing.
He's busting out the
while
W
not
word.
acknowledging grace. Now, it is important because some people's brains, look, you guys are on YouTube watching lawyers at fucking...
It is so goofy listening to Nick even say the word grace, the G word. It's like something that just is so false coming out of his mouth. Just trying, like, it's an imitation of the concept of knowing what it is or what it means. It's like, trying to... It's like if Nick Rekieta said he was a rocket scientist or something, when he brings up even the word or the concept of grace. Maybe saying grace at the dinner table, the empty gesture. Whoa, I've been listening to too much NEET-chi lately. But follow Jesus because I know he's the truth. I know what the other side is. I don't call myself Christian, though. I always figured, aside from the whole view of, I believe Jesus would wear a tuxedo t-shirt, that kind of thing. Personally, my Jesus wears a tuxedo t-shirt, that kind of thing. The idea that Jesus and God would in any way be triggered by the way people want to, first of all, the requirement of worship. It's kind of, I always thought, and I've thought this for decades, is that it's kind of antithetical to the idea of Christianity, because wait a second. What? No. Okay. There. They always seemed weird, if you will, that the gentle Jesus, meek and mild, the lamb coming to be sacrificed to oddly prevent the paganist requirement of animal sacrifices, the literal lambs. It's like, just because it's now metaphorical and symbolic doesn't really make it any less pagan, to be honest. And then the thing is that there also are very clear affiliations, or it's sort of like Christianity is essentially just the Middle Eastern version of Buddhism, except for the extra Middle Eastern parts. And again, that's not something I just started thinking. It's something that is not a new observation. It's not something that I, thought first. I'm not saying like I came up with this idea. I just think, there's that. And it doesn't mean that, therefore, throw Christianity in the garbage and start all over. When people are like, well, I'm a Christian, I think that we should just, do this. Like, if you need a religious edict to be nice to people, if it works, then it's like, well, that sounds pretty good. It sounds cool. Dude, it's so cool. So, and there's been a lot of some of the more interesting philosophy from either modern day, by modern I mean within the past couple hundred years, I don't know. But come on, gimme. No. Yeah. Yes. the philosophy that says that even if Christianity is completely a hoax and none of it exists, it's still necessary to try to encourage people to be moral. I think that's interesting, and well, I could go there. I could get there. Oh, I could go here. Might as well. So yeah, it's like, well, that's okay. It's cool. So yeah, I have definitely an understanding of why there is a justification for Christianity. I always thought that Christopher Hitchens could be kind of dismissive, the same way that Nietzsche is clearly very dismissive. Although the thing is, I can't help having a lot of respect for just that overt dismissiveness. It's like, that's just that's the ultimate Zyber Chad move, beyond the Giga Chad, beyond Giga and Chad, beyond Chad and Soy Boy. That is the modern version of Nietzsche. That's what somebody should write a fucking book, that's for sure. About what? About what? Let's see. I am going to do one of the main quests too, while we listen to the actual Antichrist stuff. And in order to do that, I have to play through the rest of it.
3 a.m. You are autistic retards.
You know
I love you all, but you are. Like, why would you do this?
I'm not interested in listening to this complete moron, this clueless moron. A clueless moron who calls everyone else retards because he's not only wrong, but constantly being dishonest about what he is and what he does, pretending that he doesn't do the things that he does. And just
this time of night.
Just skip.
Okay, so Ricada has been this is just a real short Ricada thing.
This isn't really much of an upgrade, I know, but I'll just play through these.
Ricada's been like drunk, so every time that I've been banned off.
Actually, I gotta say, I'm not used to having any chat to listen to. the Chad and Soy Boy false dichotomy. That is really the thing, is that it's not real. The whole idea of Chad versus Soy Boy X, it basically is like pretending that everything that isn't one is only the other. I understand the meme of it as a joke, but the problem with memes is that people take memes to be reality when they are not. Meme-tarded, I believe, is the term that I don't think Jim Goad came up with it, but Jim Goad did say it. And then people get really triggered over Jim Goad, though, over stuff that's completely fake. But anyways, well, chat, because I know he's so close to coming out officially. We're only months away. You know what? Yeah, Ricada would. Here's the thing: is that what is the difference between Ricada coming out and Ricada months ago already having said that he appreciates the naked male form and men who are in shape, and as his reason indirectly of explaining why he followed black gay male prostitutes from Jamaica on Instagram. That is at least an excuse, but then just say that you're bisexual. Never thought of him as being bi. But he's saying when we're talking about Christians, he means like he's a Christian. Apparently, Ricada's implying that he's a Christian. He's not a Christian. Yeah, see, again, that turns red. But you know what? That's okay. I mean, I'll have to just have to make do with those little pocket lights I added turning red on their own. This is money. Hey, it's money. Oh. Well, you know what? This one has your name all over it. What do you think about that? Perfect use of a bullet. Take care of a scumfuck like you with one bullet. Oh. Anyways. I am tempted to put down more pocket, but clearly the distance for rendering the light is not very long, and I kind of need them to be a good distance. What? I missed with that? Fuck you, game. Okay, anyways. I don't go along with the meek and mild stuff. Chad and Soyboy, when you base your worldview on memes, yeah, it's always people who base their worldview on memes are just completely fucking delusional. Like Nietzsche said. Did Nietzsche say that? Remember what De Gaulle said. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to remember what he said. What do you think about that? Imagine supporting Ricada because yeah, that's another thing is that as I was mentioning in a stream a couple days ago, I think yesterday, is that there are a lot of people just straight up pushing that Ricada is a good Christian traditional father. There are people who, push that. And have any of those people been hobbled, literally, with a sledgehammer, as they should have? Have they had their tongues cut out? No. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, no, they have not. What a shame. What a shame. Just fucking... Imagine that I played it. Suck. I missed one, so... What am I doing? What's happening? Why is this happening? Anyways. There's actual chat to engage with. I'm not used to that. Usually I would, even if there was chat sometimes, I'd be like, who cares? But you know what? In VR, it is fun to read chat. He's dark side. He's been tampering in dark-sided stuff, too. He likes to watch our wife get plowed. That's not very good. He shouldn't do that. I disapprove of his lifestyle. It has no place in a house of learning. Anyways. With Dark Aided. Yes, the AIDS. He's saying I'm basing my world off of mute. I think he's just replying to me and saying that stuff. Using the chat and the soundboard to swipe at these things. Why am I doing that? There are types of people who would be supporting the Walmart guillotines. Yeah. Yeah, just fucking... Just. Here, let me play. Actually play this stuff. I want to get these...
The social media platform formerly known as Twitter. It has been, after yelling at either Dick Masterson, a.k.a. Juju the Cow, man who got fucked in the ass by his girlfriend, and Nick Ricada. So now, instead of... I've just blocked them. Like, my stratagem is just to completely ignore these people on the social media platform formerly known as X. So far, this has been working. I think I've managed to stay on Twitter longer than ever before at this point in time. So, I get these little droplets of him ranting about me from the thread still, and he just sounds really drunk.
Ranting and drunk? That's a terrible combination.
Ricada was over half an hour late to his stream last night, even though he was seething about Noel on Twitter shortly before his stream was scheduled to start. He then got extremely drunk on stream alongside his Janny Valhalla waits.
Not to interrupt again, and not to derail again, and pause and delay things even more. But oh wait, oh sweet, an entire full whole bullet for free. Yeah. Should just do that normal. Why don't I do that normal? Oh, wait, huh? Oh, another steps. Okay. How do I get out of here without it? But, I was going to say something. I already forgot what it was.
Another lol tube orbiter. You may recall that Ricada Airbnb
Here. This was actually a good point, though. But there's not to say that Null is wrong. Even though it is fun to say. But, I mean, only if there's justification. If he's wrong, he's wrong. If he's not wrong, he's not wrong. But not to say that he's wrong, but I'm tired, really tired. Dead tired. Like in that wonderful movie Commando. I'm dead tired of all of these people, streamers and YouTubers, who are like, this guy was unhinged. Again, the unhinged woke rant because somebody replied. Somebody replies to you and it's like, this guy was ranting and raving and it's like, they just replied to you. He sounds drunk. So, who gives a shit? He probably was drunk. I mean, weren't you friends with the guy all the time when he was getting drunk? All the time? You didn't have if you're friends with somebody and you don't have a problem with them, and then you stop being friends with them, and then suddenly you have a problem with these things, you kind of look like the rube. You are the, again, like the Ethan Ralph situation. You're getting played as a rube. You're playing yourself as a rube, though, in that case. The exact same way that Ethan Ralph was back in 2019 when you and Juju the cow and Null, the other cow, were fully in support of him. I don't consider I don't consider time to be linear in that sense. I think time is perhaps a little bit more like a flat circle in that you can say, well, I've criticized Ralph recently. It's like, yeah, and you're during the exact same time you completely marked out for him. You fucking mark. See, the soundboard still technically works. I can hit the soundboard and I'll say it. What a great feature. Yeah, let's see. Was it Steps or no, it was Night Eye, wasn't it? It better be. Yeah. It was, yeah, just the whole thing of suddenly every reply being like, oh yeah, again, somebody needs to actually be ranting and fucking, and, having a meltdown if you're going to say they're having a meltdown. Okay, yeah, nice. You know what, though? Better save guy. Really need to save scum in this because so many glitches of things disappearing from my inventory all the time. Yeah. It was okay, yeah. I made my point.
And prior to the live show with Dick Masters and others
right.
in September, it was revealed to be a Playboy-themed property called the Playmate Lounge, and then he admits this. But he says that he did a strip dance for his Janny. Or a pole dance. Dude, I did a pole dance for you and your wife.
Pole dance for you. Dude, I did a pole dance for you and your wife, and you paid me more than your wife did. So you know for a fact that you're not a random.
Can I call out a chat?
That's the clip that I wanted. Bizarre. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because it's just Ricada being Ricada. And there's no point. Because if I say anything, it'll be like, I don't even know. So, but that's what he's up to. This is the joke fucking parody impersonation of Null. I don't know. Maybe I'm not really sure. Just fucking say something. Fucking pussy. Pole dancing for his Jannies now. This is where he did it. So if you want to imagine, if you want to open your third eye and imagine what this would look like in person. Here we have the Playboy themed Playmate mansion that Ricada rented. Now imagine Ricada naked or in a Speedo or whatever.
I don't think I will.
Doing a little dance, a little tease on this pole for his Jannies, for a private showing of the Ricada goods for his Jannies.
The way Null tries to continue pretend to be Jim.
Maybe this is what provoked those people to register on my site 8 fucking times and try to argue with people in the thread to derail it. They know that if they do a good job counter signaling the Kiwi Farms, Ricada might just put on the Speedo and the Baldo. Imagine that outline. Brian Dunn, eat your heart out. Imagine the outline in the Speedo with the Baldo on. Maybe the Baldo even hanging seductively out of the Speedo as he does a little dip, a little upside down, rolling around on that pole for him. That is why
we get it, Null.
Those people are so motivated, so dedicated to helping out because they know the goods are coming. At the end of the day, Ricada will give them their comeuppance.
Yeah, thanks for that information. You should think more about him naked.
I have not seen this. 16 seconds.
Go ahead,
okay,
no.
Perfect.
Shelly says, just us, you apologize for raping our one child. I will never apologize for raping your one child. Your child deserved it. They wore a skirt that was too short.
Oh, lol.
This guy's face is just like, I'm on. Aussie Overlord is sitting here thinking, my face is in this clip. This clip is going on YouTube. The clip where Rekieta says that your child deserved to be raped has my face on it, and that's going on YouTube. And when this is presented as evidence for the wall trials of 2030, kind of funny. I will be in this clip. I will be implicated in its depravity forever. I will never escape this fate because I accepted the offer to appear on the stream to try and advertise my fucking bullshit ass retard channel.
Whoa.
Sorry, nice. I was literally reading a comment that says I'm reading comments and dying inside. Just a little bit.
This man, I assume, I think he's also, like, I would assume, I don't know anything about him, but I'm assuming that he's like a law tuber for Australian law. And as Rekieta says that your child deserves to be raped, he very quickly, it's like in a high-speed car, it's like he slams on his brakes, throws it in reverse. He's got 3 seconds to make this pull-out convincing as he skids off, and he thinks,
pull out?
I'm going to pretend I didn't even hear that. So when they line me up in the wall hearings of 2030, I can just say I have no fucking recollection of this, and it's on record that I was reading a comment when it was said, which is why I didn't object and prevent him from saying this retarded ass shit. That is a true legal maneuver. That man's an expert. I'm sure he's done depositions before in his career. Great job, my boy.
They probably all are
after the show, Nick got back to what he was doing before, letting off some steam about Null on Twitter. Rekieta says, I don't burn burgers, gays burns bridge knee for literally no reason. Around 4 in the morning his time. So you see this message? I'll repeat this. Legends live forever. Ask Rekieta, another bridge to burn. Rekieta Law replies saying, a bridge.
I'm hoping this is the second clip so that we're getting through with this, but Rekieta's always been a grip. That is true. Genuinely, Nick Rekieta has always been like this. And there are a lot of people who are like, oh man, Nick Rekieta's gotten really bad lately. And he has been having a downfall. The thing is that most of it's just a public downfall. As far as him as personality, Nick Rekieta is honest and forthright and true and correct when he says that he hasn't really changed. He hasn't. It's true. Nick Rekieta has not really changed. He was always like this. The difference is that most people didn't want to notice it. Now, what am I doing? You. No, I guess not. I should do this more often with more places, though. I gotta get more used to getting around in the radius. No, wait. I was gonna look at this. They replied to disagreed. Unhinged. The worst kind of hinge. I can one-hand this, right? I'm trying to get the red dot. I'm trying to look for the red dot. Oh, there. It's always above. I'm never, like, tilting it down enough like that. Okay. Yeah, there. Every game in VR. There we go. Treasure. Okay, so. I'll just go right back. Actually, wait. I'm here anyways. There's always some stuff around here. More treasure. Absolute state there. Oh, yeah. Rekieta's always been a grifter. I never understood the people that believed any of his crap. He seemed shady since the Vic stuff. That is the thing, is that people were just so desperate to believe that they would believe that Rekieta was actually friends with Vic. Especially because when you think of the alternative, it meant that somebody, a wholesome Christian Chad dad, would be that dishonest to pretend to be friends with somebody. And deep down inside, most people don't want to think of the world that way. They don't want to think that the world can be just that dishonest right in front of their faces, and they wouldn't be able to see it and wouldn't want to see it. They, that a popular YouTuber couldn't just be popular for being dishonest. They want to think that there's, universal justice, karmic justice, God's justice, something like that. That somebody couldn't be rewarded for being dishonest. People want to believe that that is how the world can only work, and there's no other way for the world to work. Because if it doesn't, then apparently, for some people, the despair would just be so universal they wouldn't even be able to get out of bed. Something like that. And you could say that it's only because the lie, again, been listening to too much Nietzsche, huh? The lie of some kind of supernatural justice, giving people that delusion is what makes them weaker against the realization that there is no punishment for being dishonest. You could say that. Some could say that. Some could just say, no, there actually is universal supernatural justice, God's justice. There is karma. So some people will say some things, and some other people will say some other things. Did you know that? People will say things? Wow. Who would have thought? Throw this in. I don't need so many energy drinks. Whoa. Wait, how much is that? About $10. Yeah, that's okay. In fact, I should sell some of them. I forgot if I need food for a quest, because I know there was the picnic quest, the actual roadside picnic quest, but that's in 2.0. I don't know. Anyways, RNG, the real God, the real true God, RNG. Learning about Christianity or God's justice through Nietzsche. Why would someone do that? Why? 9-eye steps. It's always 9-eye steps. I could do this. Just one more. Well, actually, I'll wait until it gets into... Once these are finished.
To burn,
I'll do that real
I don't
quest.
burn burgers. Gaze burns bridges with knee for literally no reason. Sorry, Gator. Amazing post. Thank you, Ricada. That post, so good. Here, wait. I'm gonna say a toast to Ricada. Wow, that alcohol really hit the spot. That was a fine aged whiskey. It really satiates my appetite, my thirst, if you know what I mean. Ricada really outdid himself for that one. I think that he should toast. He wants to enjoy himself just a little bit, because he's earned it. He's earned it. Especially with that Rumble contract. He says that he's back in renegotiations with Rumble. So, sorry, Kiwi Figs. You gotta cope and see. He's going to re-sign with Rumble.
Directly referencing the
potentially, because he's back in renegotiation. So that's a winning move right there. That's something to be celebrated with a drink. If there's ever a time to drink, it would be after scoring that renegotiation with Rumble.
It would be any
That's
time,
well
really.
earned, chat. Well earned. Sneeds McSneedenson for 5 says, quote, Josh, I love you. You're such a fucking loser, virgin, neckbeard, autistic Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, incel Karen, retard, faggot loser.
Syndrome too.
I love you, buddy. I want you to make all the money in the world. I have a feeling that Sneeds McSneedenson is trying to verbally imitate a specific law tuber who shall not be named. Thank you. Very accurate. Baldo Peggins for 5 says, no balls, no problem. The new Strap-All Do comes with a set of prosthetic balls attached so you can still dress as your favorite farm animal and experience the patent ball peggings. Do you think that maybe Juju and Nick can engage in the anal-only lifestyle using the Baldo and the cow custom? I think it's possible. I think where true love is, anything is possible, Chad. All else for 5 says, how do we get Ricada to start taking Xanax? I really miss those Ralph streams. Eventually he will find a way on his own. He deserves it. He's under so much stress running his media empire that he doesn't that he needs a little break. He needs a little something, a little something to take the edge off to go with his alcohol. Useful Mistake says this is a public call-out post to @Null. We are rising up. Nick, the totally real lawyer, pays his Jannies with personal striptease dances. However, you do not. This is an outrage. There is a I don't know if I'll ever be able to find this. I remember on Skype there was a special dancing pig reaction that we could harass people with. Like it would just it had this noise. Is this it? Yes, this is it. I don't know why it's called the English pig dance. He might show his butthole. Yeah, this is it. Here you go. Here's your dance, motherfucker.
Good thing I'm not seeing this. Not see?
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Only real OGs. MSN will remember this. This is how the people in the old internet reacted back when the internet was a proper noun.
Well, this is the other clip.
Chat. It appears we've got a proper mystery on our hands. Instead of talking about random bullshit, I'm gonna cut right to the chase and discuss what I have learned today. There is a thread on a website called Kiwi Farms dedicated to a man who has allegedly placed his testicles inside his wife's asshole with a baldo, and this act has raised much contention around the world, and some people are indignant that this sexual act has been made fun of, and now there is fallout from this.
I remember when some people were indignant that
chat. Someone
being brought up
complained to me today. And so Josh, actually it was one of my mods. So Josh, I'm pretty sure there is some shenaniganery happening in the Ricada thread. Can you investigate? And sure enough, I presumed, because if you don't remember, if you don't recall, Ricada had a locals thing where he encouraged 40-year-old women to go topless for him because that excited him sexually. And I warned him that if you were to do this, if you were to encourage these people, these wine moms, to go full leather on locals, they would develop feelings, as women do. And the fallout of this would be long lasting, and it made me never go away. People. So a couple months ago, someone named Cynthia Behave joined the forum and started white knighting for Ricada in his thread, as sometimes happens. And then crazy. I believe they were thread banned.
I guess.
Because they kept derailing the thread, which happens. You're not allowed to white knight in a thread because that causes disruption. People can't talk about what they normally do. It's just generally not welcome. Wait. But instead of banning people, what we do...
What the fuck is he talking about? Is Null delusional? Is he starting to hallucinate or something? Maybe he's the alcoholic too here. How many alcoholics can there be? Maybe it wasn't a bit. Maybe he actually was licking a bottle. Maybe he's just licking a regular bottle, though. But, people white knight all the time on Kiwi Farms. It's fucking stupid. I mean, he's stupid, but does he actually have to choose to be dishonest on top of that? I don't know why. Personally, I don't know why somebody would choose to be that. This isn't going to stay here. Can I put something here, though? Oh, you know what? I can. I don't know how much of a point there will be to this. Come on. There we go. Nice. What am I doing? Yeah, that looks like that. Yeah. I just like having a visual indicator. Okay. Okay. But, yeah, that's strikingly stupid and dishonest of Null to say that, but, I mean, because not just Ricada, not just people white knighting for Ricada, because, I mean, Null himself was, but there have been other people. The Comicsgate thread has been full of white knighting for people after they get caught doing embarrassing, stupid shit. Just play through this, I guess.
Those would just move those posts to a mass debates thread, and we say if you want to argue about this topic, you still have a thread for it. Cynthia Behaves was not okay with this, and decided to create other accounts. And their friends apparently also made other accounts. So, as I did some investigation, I discovered that
on Kiwi Farms,
Simply Behave had access to, or had specifically created for themselves, 6 other accounts: Judy Gemstone, Geared Chris, Rami Behave, Lumber Liquor, Kurt's Depression, and Montashaft. Some of these accounts, so recent they were created yesterday and had 0 posts, were all accessed by the same person from Northeast Illinois, who apparently...
One thing about making a sock account is making it with a similar name to the name you're already using. Always the boneheaded move. I mean, you know, there are dumb people who use sock puppet accounts, of course, but who at least have some good sense to switch up the name and not using any part of the same name is a dunderheaded move, if you will. Fuck. Okay, this should be okay. There we go. That seems good. Shit. There. Yeah, play this again.
Apparently, a well-known Ricada simp lives. So I spent my morning investigating this, and I published my findings. I cleaned up all these sock accounts that had existed for the sole purpose of causing disruption in the Ricada thread. And I believe there's probably 3, maybe even 4 people who are working together and sharing accounts to try and create a wall of dissent in the Ricada thread. And as I announced this finding, a man comes out named Zelensky the Nazi, and it says, it tells me that Farhan, someone named Farhan, lives in Illinois. Not sure where Cynthia lives, but Farhan 100% lives in Illinois. And as it turns out, one of my mods the same day had indicated to me that Zelensky the Nazi is probably Spectre, the same Spectre that had given illegal legal advice to somebody in a lawsuit and pretends to be a Spec Ops Marine / lawyer, a combat lawyer, if you will. So as it turns out,
barely relevant, but I just remember it's funny when when Liam Gray got caught trying to blackmail Preston for our docs and so on, and also for dirt on Doug TenNapel, just to show how delusional Liam Gray really was, or how delusional Ethan was, because it was Ethan who wanted that stuff. It was Ethan who was looking for anything to use against Doug TenNapel, of course. But Liam Gray, of course, being the true believer that he was fully on board. So personally, there's no reason to split the accountability there. But Spectre did a video about that. And I think even in that video, he fucking just out of nowhere starts seething about the fact that I made fun of Nick Ricada and was correctly criticizing Nick Ricada, as I've been proven right about. But then also every time I would make fun of Nick Ricada and just make any joke or say anything critical or mocking of him, Spectre would just have he would just shit blood into his gay diapers. Very unfortunate on his part, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he likes it.
So from this post, that's also Spectre, and for sure, with Spectre's haunting guise now lingering over the Ricada thread, we can be sure that there are converging Discord cliques now having a fight in the Ricada thread, and we're gonna need some special attention given, I guess, to figure out what to do about it. Generally speaking, when people do this kind of shit, the best thing to do is like to identify new accounts that are obviously just there to shit up one thread, and then ignore them and also report them. So don't they'll keep coming back forever if people in the thread spurg out every single time they do, even if they get banned immediately and everything gets deleted. Like the most aggressive ones will be self-motivated just from even like a single reply, even if it takes them like 20 minutes to get an account. They'll do it literally forever. But if people in the thread don't reply, they're a lot less motivated and they'll give up after a while. So there are literally they're making like 8 different accounts and sharing passwords with each other. And now that I've kind of shown my hand and I've identified that I can like link accounts like this, they're for sure going to like change their tactics so that this can't work anymore. And people are just going to have to be more alert to the fact that there's like literally 4 or 5 people who are actively working to try and cause problems in Rikada's thread.
Literally, as in 4 or 5 people with
that's my Inspector Gadget moment for the day.
The one thing he mentions is that not that I even know that much more myself, but he mentions that Farron, who is Farron Balanced, who is I think some trad boomer chick or something. Again, I don't really know, but sounds like a spicy accusation that Farron Balanced. Were they saying that Cynthia is them, or that Farron was using sock accounts or something? I already forgot. Locked it out of my memory. Should be able to get 1 spawn core. But that it's kind of funny. But also, I don't know, sounds like a baseless accusation to me. Which then usually I'm like, well, it might there. Usually I'm like, well, maybe there's something to it. You know what? Come on, give me. There we go. I'm going to definitely need fully loaded. This is actually a good amount of ammo. I don't have to be actually carrying this, but let's see. I think there was one little extra bonus video after all that. I think.
This is a LibriVox recording.
No.
All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer...
Hold on. I should be fast forwarding that or something. Let me just... Going out for spawn card. You know, relatively easy to find. Oh, yeah. That's right. First thing, though, let me just... you know what? Only from experience do I realize that it's probably... Yeah, again, it's kind of annoying. Okay, you know what? Now, it's probably topped off. Yep, there we go. Is this actually... This probably needs a little... Yeah, just sliver. Best to keep it maintained as soon as possible, instead of putting it off and then all of a sudden it's in the yellow and you got to use the spray and the toothbrush. I'm doing good. So, you know what? Double save. Yes. Let me check my video so I can go back to, I guess go back to Antichrist.
Inherent in Christianity, it follows that the typically Christian state of faith must be a form of sickness too, and that all straightforward, and scientific paths to knowledge must be banned by the Church as forbidden ways. Doubt
I don't like forbidden ways.
From the start. The complete lack of psychological cleanliness in the priest, revealed by a glance at him, is a phenomenon resulting from decadence.
NEET-chi calling him gay again?
One may observe in hysterical
Get
women
him,
and
NEET-chi.
in chitic children
how
regularly the falsification of instincts, delight in lying for the mere sake of lying, and incapacity for looking straight and walking straight are symptoms of decadence.
Straight.
Faith means the will to avoid knowing what is true. The pietist, the priest of either sex, is a fraud because he is sick.
Lol.
His instinct demands that the truth shall never be allowed its rights on any point. Whatever makes for illness is good. Whatever issues from abundance, from superabundance, from power, is evil. So argues the believer. The impulse to lie. It is by this that I recognize every foreordained theologian. An Another characteristic of the theologian is his unfitness for philology.
Yeah.
What I mean here by philology is, in a general sense, the art of reading with profit, the capacity for absorbing facts without interpreting them falsely, and without losing caution, patience, and subtlety in the effort to understand them. Philology as effexis, that is, skepticism,
the study of Dr. Phil.
With newspaper reports, with the most fateful events, or with weather statistics.
Fateful findings,
not to mention the salvation of the soul.
Neil
The
Breen.
way in which a theologian,
the classic
whether
Neil
in Berlin
Breen movie.
or in Rome, is ready to explain, say, a passage of scripture, or an experience,
Whoa, it's loud.
or a victory by the national army,
Come on,
by
Spawn,
turning
I know
upon
you're
it
here.
the high illumination of the Psalms of David, is always so daring that it is enough to make a philologian run up a wall. But what shall he do when pietists and other such cows from Suabia use the finger of God to convert their miserably commonplace and hugger-mugger existence into a miracle of grace, a providence, and an experience of salvation? The most modest exercise of the intellect, not to say of decency.
Still trying to remember that B. I don't know why I keep forgetting it, but that
the perfect childishness,
the sweet B word
of such a misuse of the divine digital dexterity. However small our piety,
that Nietzsche would keep using.
A God who always cured us of a cold in the head just at the right time, or got us into our carriage at the very instant heavy rain began to fall, he would seem so absurd that he'd have to be abolished even if he existed. God as a domestic servant, as a letter carrier, as an almanac man.
God is my mailman.
He is a mere
co-pilot?
name for the stupidest sort of chance.
Whoa.
Divine providence, which every third man in educated Germany still believes in, is so strong an argument against God that it would be impossible to think of a stronger. In any case, it is an argument against Germans.
Fuck you.
3.
Okay, I got him.
It is so little true that martyrs offer any support to the truth of a cause that I am inclined to deny that any martyr has ever had anything to do with the truth at all. In the very tone in which a martyr flings what he fancies to be true at the head of the world, there appears so low a grade of intellectual honesty, and such insensibility to the problem of truth, that it is never necessary to refute him. Truth is not something that one man has and another man has not. At best, only peasants, or peasant apostles like Luther can think of truth in any such way.
Whoa.
One may rest assured that the greater the degree of a man's intellectual conscience, the greater will be his discretion.
Fuck it, you're getting this.
To know in 5 cases, and to refuse with delicacy to know anything further.
What?
Truth, as the word is understood by every prophet, every sectarian, every freethinker, every socialist, and every
think for yourself or
is
weirdo.
Simply a complete proof that not even a beginning has been made in the intellectual discipline and self-control that are necessary to the unearthing of even the smallest truth.
Self-control. Oh, that was a great song
deaths
from
of the martyrs,
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Have been the misfortunes of history. They have misled. The conclusion that all idiots, women, and plebeians come to, that there must be something in a cause for which anyone goes to his death, or which, as under primitive Christianity, sets off epidemics of death-seeking. This conclusion has been an unspeakable drag upon the testing of facts, upon the whole spirit of inquiry and investigation.
Delicious.
The martyrs have damaged the truth. Even to this day, the crude fact of persecution is enough to give an honorable name to the most empty sort of sectarianism. But why? Is the worth of a cause altered by the fact that someone had laid down his life for it? An error that becomes honorable is simply an error that has acquired one.
Again, this looks like it jammed, but it's not. It's empty.
Do you suppose,
I know it is,
theologians,
it's empty.
that we shall give you the chance to be martyred for your lies? One best disposes of a cause by respectfully putting it on ice. That is also the
vanilla
best way to
ice.
dispose of theologians.
Yeah.
This was precisely the world historical stupidity of all the persecutors.
I'm a professional stand-up comedian now.
Of honor to the cause they opposed. That they made it a present of the fascination of martyrdom. Women are still on their knees before an error because they have been told that someone died on the cross for it. Is the cross then an argument?
Yeah, women are on their knees. But about all
these things, there is one.
I get it.
And one only who has said what has been needed for thousands of
crusty,
years.
But okay.
Zarathustra. They made
He's
signs of blood,
making references to your own shit.
and their folly taught them that the truth
Way to
is
plug
proved
your
by
books,
blood.
jerk.
But blood is the worst of all testimonies to the truth. Blood poisoneth even the purest teaching, and turneth it into madness and hatred in the heart.
Poison the well,
when one
too?
goeth
Perhaps.
through fire for his teaching, what doth that prove? Verily it is more when one's teaching cometh out of one's own burning. End of sections 48 through 53.
Alrighty. Alrighty. I think we're getting close to the end.
This is a LibriVox recording.
Oh
All
boy, sleepy
LibriVox
guy.
recordings are in the public domain.
Sleepy guy.
For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Get to the book.
The Antichrist
Fucker.
by Friedrich Nietzsche.
What?
Sections 54
That's not his name.
through 62. 54.
This guy doesn't say what his name
Do not
is.
let yourself be
Like
deceived.
the broads do that, but he
Great
doesn't.
intellects are skeptical. Zarathustra is a skeptic.
This is a guy from the
Strength,
beginning of the book,
the
actually.
freedom which
Why does he
proceeds
sound
from
sleepier?
intellectual power,
I don't
from the
know.
superabundance of intellectual power, manifest themselves as skepticism. Men of fixed convictions do not
Manos,
count
no.
when it comes to determining what is fundamental in values and lack of values. Men of convictions are prisoners. They do not see far enough. They do not see what is below them.
What? Why not?
Whereas a man who would talk to any purpose about value and non-value must be able to see 500 convictions beneath him and behind him. A mind that aspires to great things
Mime? Oh.
and that wills the means thereto is necessarily skeptical. Freedom from any sort of conviction belongs to strength and to an independent point of view. That grand passion, which is at once the foundation and the power of a skeptic's existence, and is both more enlightened and more
Skeptic.
despotic than he is himself, drafts the whole of his intellect into its service. It makes him unscrupulous. It gives him courage to employ unholy means.
Ooh.
Under certain circumstances, it does not begrudge him even convictions. Conviction as a means. One may achieve a good deal by means of a conviction. A grand passion makes use of and uses up convictions. It does not yield to them. It knows itself to be sovereign. On the contrary, the need of faith, of something unconditioned by yea or nay, of Carlyleism, if I may be allowed the word, is
Robert
a need
Carlyle?
of weakness. The man of faith, the believer of any sort, is necessarily a dependent man. Such a man cannot
sure.
posit
Yeah.
himself as a goal, nor can he find goals within himself.
Is he the ball?
The believer does
That
not
was an
belong to
Anita
himself.
Sarkeesian
He can only be a means to an end. He must be used up. He needs someone to use him up. His instinct gives the highest honors to an ethic of self-effacement. He is prompted to embrace it by everything, his prudence, his experience, his vanity. Every sort of faith is in itself an evidence of self-effacement, of self-estrangement. When one reflects how necessary it is to the great majority that there be regulations to restrain them from without and hold them fast, and to what extent control, or, in a higher sense, slavery, is the one and only condition which makes for the well-being of the weak-willed man, and especially woman, then one at once understands conviction
Especially
and
woman.
faith. To the man with convictions, they are his backbone. To avoid seeing many things, to be impartial about nothing, to be a party man through and through, to estimate
Sweet. Oh,
all values strictly and
I
infallibly.
can do this.
These are the conditions necessary to the existence of such a man. But by the same token, they are antagonists of the truthful man, of the truth.
Of the day
The
man.
believer is not free to answer the question, true or not true, according to the dictates of his own conscience. Integrity on this point would work his instant downfall. The pathological limitations of his vision turn the man of convictions into a fanatic. Savonarola, Luther, Rousseau, Robespierre, Saint-Simon, these types stand in opposition to the strong, emancipated spirit. But the grandiose attitudes of these sick intellects, these intellectual epileptics, are of influence upon the great masses. Fanatics are picturesque, and mankind prefers observing poses to listening to reasons.
Whoa.
55.
Oh.
One step further in the psychology of conviction, of faith. It is now a good while since I first proposed for consideration the question whether convictions are not even more dangerous enemies to truth than lies. Paren. Human all too human. 1. Aphorism 483. Translator's footnote 27. The aphorism which is headed The Enemies of Truth makes the direct statement, convictions are more dangerous enemies of truth than lies. End footnote. End paren. This time, I desire to put the question definitively. Is there any actual difference between a lie and a conviction? All the world believes that there is. But what is not believed by all the world? Every conviction has a history, its primitive forms, its stage of tentativeness and error. It becomes a conviction only after having been for a long time not one, and then for an even longer time
anti-normie cattle.
What if falsehood be also one of these embryonic forms of conviction? Sometimes all that is needed is a change in persons. What was a lie in the Father becomes a conviction in the Son. I call it lying to refuse to see what one sees, or to refuse to see it as it is. Whether the lie be uttered before witnesses or not before witnesses is of no consequence.
Especially
the most common
to
sort
me.
of lie is that by which a man deceives himself. The deception of others is a relatively rare offense. Now, this will, not to see what one sees, this will, not to see it as it is almost the first requisite for all who belong to a party of whatever sort. The party man becomes inevitably a liar. For example, the German historians are convinced that Rome was synonymous with despotism, and that the Germanic peoples brought the spirit of liberty into the world.
It was
What
like
is the difference between this
$9.99.
conviction and a lie? Is it to be wondered at that all partisans, including the German historians, instinctively roll the fine phrases of morality upon their tongues? That morality almost owes its very survival to the fact that the party man of every sort has need of it every moment. This is our conviction. We publish it to the whole world. We live and die for it. Let us respect all who have convictions. I've actually heard such sentiments.
This is actually very important to interrupt with. Did you know that the Batman '89 soundtrack by Prince ends with Bat Dance? Yeah, that's right. Prince was like, that's going at the end. That's closing the album. And you know what? He was right too. He was certainly right too. I think Party Man is like the middle track, which is an interesting choice. Only Prince could really get away with that.
From the mouths of anti-Semites.
Oh, Prince.
On the contrary, gentlemen.
Anti-Semites? What?
An anti-Semite surely does not become more respectable because he lies on principle. The priests, who have more finesse in such matters, and who well understand the objection that lies against the notion of a conviction, which is to say, of a falsehood that becomes a matter of principle because it serves a purpose, have borrowed from the Jews the shrewd device of sneaking in the concepts God, the will of God, and the revelation of God at this place. Kant, too, with his categorical imperative, was on the same road.
Every time. Kant.
Was his practical reason.
The way this guy pronounces
footnote
Kant.
28.
Not pronounces it, but just emphasizes it.
Kritik der praktischen Vernunft.
What?
Paren, critique of practical reason. End paren. End footnote.
Yeah, whatever.
There are questions regarding the truth.
This is going to be a really dangerous adventure, by the way.
For man to decide.
I am ready.
All the capital questions, all the capital questions of valuation.
I don't have to clear blog post, but I think I'm going to anyways.
To know the limits of reason, that alone is genuine philosophy.
Nugget.
Why did God make a revelation to man?
I don't know.
Would God have done anything superfluous? Man could not find out for himself what was good.
Well, God should know.
So
sometimes you got to repeat yourself, right?
Will. Moral.
If God knows anything,
does
he
not
knows
lie. The question, true or untrue, has nothing to do with such things as the priest discusses.
Use the dirty one.
It is impossible to lie about these things. In order to lie here, it would be necessary to know what is true. But this is more than man can know. Therefore, the priest is simply the mouthpiece of God. Such a priestly syllogism is by no means merely Jewish and Christian. The right to lie and the shrewd dodge of revelation belong to the general priestly type, to the priest of the decadence as well as to the priest of pagan times. Pagans are all those who say yes to life, and to whom God is a word signifying acquiescence in all things.
Is this why the pagan meme?
The law, the will of God, the holy book, and inspiration, all these things are merely words for the conditions under which the priest comes to power, and with which he maintains his power. These concepts are to be found at the bottom of all priestly organizations, and of all priestly or priestly philosophical schemes of governments. The holy lie, common alike to Confucius, to the Code of Manu, to Mohammed, and to the Christian Church, is not even wanting in Plato.
Not Muhammad.
Truth is here. This means, no matter where it's heard, the priest lies. 56. In the last analysis, it comes to this. What is the end of lying? The fact that, in Christianity, holy ends are not visible is my objection to the means it deploys. Only bad ends appear. The poisoning, the calumniation, the denial of life, the despising of the body, the degradation and self-contamination of man by the concept of sin. Therefore, its means are also bad. I have a contrary feeling when I read the Code of Manu, an incomparably more intellectual and superior work, which it would be sin against the intelligence to so much as name in the same breath as the Bible. It is easy to see why. There's a genuine philosophy behind it, in it, not merely an evil-smelling mess of Jewish rabbinism and superstition. It gives even the most fastidious psychologist something to sink his teeth into.
That just did it.
And, not to forget what is most important, it differs fundamentally from every kind of Bible.
Getting my channel copyright claimed with number station CDs.
Keep the whip hand over the majority. It is full of noble evaluations. It shows a feeling of perfection and acceptance of life, and a triumphant feeling towards self and the life. The sun shines upon the whole book. All the things on which Christianity vents its fathomless vulgarity, for example, procreation, women, and marriage, are here handled earnestly, with reverence and with love
Marry and reproduce.
How can anyone really put into the hands of children and ladies
just
a
like
book which contains such vile things as this?
And they live.
To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. It is better to marry than to burn. Translator's footnote, number 29. 1 Corinthians 7, 2, 9.
2 Corinthians. And it is
possible to be a Christian so long as the origin of man is Christianized, which is to say, befouled by the doctrine of the Immaculata Conceptio. I know of no book in which so many delicate and kindly things are said of women as in the Code of Manu. These old graybeards and saints have a way of being gallant to
like in Skyrim,
that it would be impossible perhaps to surpass. The mouth of a woman, it says in one place, the breasts of a maiden, the prayer of a child, and the smoke of sacrifice are always pure.
You know, I need healing items. I forgot I was going to bring that.
There is nothing purer than the light of the sun, the shadow cast by a cow, air, water, fire, and the breath of a maiden.
Big fans of cows.
And still another place, perhaps this is also a holy lie.
Whoa.
All the orifices of the body above the navel are pure, and all below are impure. Only in the maiden is the whole body pure.
Oh. Women worship? Is that the greatest crime
One
of religion?
Catches the unholiness
is respecting
of Christian
women.
Means in flagranti by the simple process of putting the ends sought by Christianity beside the ends sought by the Code of Manu. By putting these enormously antithetical ends in a strong light.
You mean?
The critic of Christianity cannot evade the necessity of making Christianity contemptible. A book of laws such as the Code of Manu has the same origin as every other good law book. It epitomizes the experience, the sagacity, and the ethical experimentation of long centuries. It brings things to a conclusion. It no longer creates. The prerequisite to a codification of this sort is recognition of the fact that the means which establish the authority of a slowly and painfully attained truth are fundamentally different from those which one would make use of to prove it. A law book never recites the utility, the grounds, the casuistical antecedents of a law, for if it did so, it would lose the imperative tone, the thou shall, on which obedience is based. The problem lies exactly here. At a certain point in the evolution of a people, the class within it of the greatest insight, which is to say, the greatest hindsight and foresight, declares that the series of experiences determining how all shall live, or can live, has come to an end. The object now is to reap as rich and as complete a harvest as possible from the days of experiment and hard experience.
Whoa.
In consequence,
Oh.
the thing that is to be avoided above everything is further experimentation, the continuation of the state in which values are fluent and are tested, chosen, and criticized ad infinitum. Against this, a double wall is set up. On the one hand, revelation, which is the assumption that the reasons lying behind the laws are not of human origin, that they were not sought out and found by a slow process and after many errors, but that they are of divine ancestry and came into being complete, perfect, without a history as a free gift, a miracle. And on the other hand, tradition, which is the assumption that the law has stood unchanged from time immemorial, and that it is impious and a crime against one's forefathers to bring it into question. The authority of the law is thus grounded on the thesis, God gave it, and the fathers lived it. The higher motive of such procedure lies in the design to distract consciousness, step by step, from its concern with notions of right living. That is to say, those that have been proved to be right by wide and carefully considered experience, so that instinct attains to a perfect automatism, a primary necessary to every sort of mastery, to every sort of perfection in the art of life. To draw up such a law book as Manu's means to lay before a people the possibility of future mastery, of attainable perfection. It permits them to aspire to the highest reaches of the art of life. To that end, the thing must be made unconscious. That is the aim of every holy lie. The order of castes, the highest, the dominating law, is merely the ratification of an order of nature, of a natural law of the first rank, over which no arbitrary fiat, no modern idea can exert any influence. In every healthy society, there are three physiological types, gravitating towards differentiation, but mutually conditioning one another, and each of these has its own hygiene, its own sphere of work, its own special mastery and feeling of perfection. It is not Manu, but nature that sets off in one class those who are chiefly intellectual,
Who's
in another,
Manu?
those who are marked by muscular strength and temperament, and in a third, those who are distinguished in neither one way or the other, but show only mediocrity. The last named represents the great majority, and the first two the select. The superior caste, I call it the fewest, has, as the most perfect, the privileges of the few. It stands for happiness, for beauty, for everything good upon earth. Only the most intellectual of men have any right to beauty, to the beautiful. Only in them can goodness escape being weakness. Pulchrum est paucorum hominum. Translator's footnote 30. Few men are noble. End footnote.
Don't I know it?
Goodness is a privilege. Nothing could be more unbecoming to them than uncouth manners, or a pessimistic look, or an eye that sees ugliness, or indignation against the general aspect of things. Indignation is the privilege of the Chandala, so is pessimism. The world is perfect, so prompts the instinct of the intellectual.
Ancient form of
the instinct
Chungus?
of the man who says
I think so.
to life. Imperfection, whatever is inferior to us, distance, the pathos of distance, even the Chandala themselves, are parts of this perfection.
Chandala.
The most intelligent men, like the strongest, find their happiness where others would find only disaster, in the labyrinth, in being hard with themselves and with others, in effort. Their delight is in self-mastery. In them, asceticism becomes second nature, a necessity, an instinct. They regard a difficult task as a privilege, It is to them a recreation to play with burdens that would crush all others. Knowledge, a form of asceticism. They are the most honorable kind of men, but that does not prevent them being the most cheerful and the most amiable. They rule not because they want to, but because they are. They are not at liberty to play second. The second caste. To this belong the guardians of the law, the keepers of order and security, the more noble warriors. Above all, the king is the highest form of warrior, judge, and preserver of the law. The second in rank constitute the executive arm of the intellectuals. The next to them in rank, taking from them all that is rough in the business of ruling, their followers, their right hand, their most apt disciples. In all this, I repeat, there is nothing arbitrary, nothing made up. Whatever is to the contrary is made up. By it, nature is brought to shame. The order of castes, the order of rank, simply formulates the supreme law of life itself. The separation of the three types is necessary to the maintenance of society, and to the evolution of higher types, and the highest types. The inequality of rights is essential to the existence of any rights at all. A right is a privilege. Everyone enjoys the privileges that accord with his state of existence. Let us not underestimate the privileges of the mediocre. Life is always harder as one mounts the heights. The cold increases, responsibility
it's not
increases.
even playing.
High civilization is a pyramid.
Whatever.
It can stand only on a broad base. Its primary prerequisite is a strong and soundly consolidated mediocrity. The handicrafts, commerce, agriculture, science, the greater part of art, in brief, the whole range of occupational activities, are compatible only with mediocre ability and aspiration. Such callings would be out of place for exceptional men. The instincts which belong to them stand as much opposed to aristocracy as to anarchism. The fact that a man is publicly useful, that he is a wheel, a function, is evidence of a natural predisposition. It is not society, but the only sort of happiness that the majority are capable of, that makes them intelligent machines. To the mediocre, mediocrity is a form of happiness. They have a natural instinct for mastering
He's talking
one
about
thing,
comic
for
skate again.
specialization. It would be altogether unworthy of a profound intellect to see anything objectionable in mediocrity in itself. It is, in fact, the first prerequisite to the appearance of the exceptional. It is a necessary condition to a high degree of civilization. When the exceptional man handles the mediocre man with more delicate fingers than he applies to himself or to his equals, this is not merely kindness of heart, it is simply his duty.
Sweet.
Whom do I hate most heartily among the rabbles of today? The rabble of socialists, the apostles to the Chandala, who undermine the working man's instincts, his
Anti-Chandala.
pleasures, his feeling of contentment
Chandala
with
hate
his petty
speech.
existence, who make him envious and teach him revenge.
All right, come on. Come
Wrong
on.
never lies in unequal rights. It lies in the assertion of equal rights. What is bad? What I've already answered. All that proceeds from
Well,
weakness.
feel
from
free to
envy,
go over it
from
again,
revenge.
NEET-chi.
The anarchist and the
I
Christian
have
have the
problems
same
knowing who
ancestry.
NEET-chi is. That was a Rocco's Modern Life reference.
58.
58, huh? Oh.
In point of fact, the end for which one lies makes a great difference, whether one preserves thereby or destroys. There is a perfect likeness between Christian and anarchist.
You
Their
son
object,
of a
their
bee sting.
instinct, points only toward destruction.
I got something for this.
One need only turn to history for proof of this. There, it appears with appalling distinctness. We have just studied a code of religious legislation whose object it was to convert the conditions which cause life to flourish into an eternal social organization. Christianity found its mission in putting an end to such an organization, because life flourished under it.
Fuck you.
There, the benefits that reason had produced during long ages of experiment and insecurity were applied to the most remote uses, and an effort was made to bring in a harvest that should be as large, as rich, and as complete as possible. Here, on the
I wonder
contrary,
I stopped using this.
the harvest is blighted overnight.
This.
That which stood there, ere
Fuck
perennis,
you,
the
Moses
Imperium
McGant.
Romanum,
in this.
The most
It's better in
magnificent form of
2.7.
organization under
Certainly.
difficult conditions that has ever been achieved, and compared to which everything before it and after it appears as patchwork, bungling, dilettantism. Those holy anarchists made it a matter of piety to destroy the world, which is to say, the Imperium Romanum, so that in the end not a stone stood upon another.
Shit.
And even Germans and other such louts were
Even
able to become
Germans.
its masters. The Christian and the anarchist, both are décadents. Both are incapable of any act that is not disintegrating,
Got 'em.
poisonous, degenerating, blood-sucking. Both have an instinct of mortal hatred of everything that stands up and is great and has durability and promises life a future. Christianity was the vampire of the Imperium Romanum. Overnight, it destroyed the vast achievement of the Romans, the conquest of the soil for a great culture that could await its time.
Soil? What about the blood?
Can it be that this fact is not yet understood? The Imperium Romanum that we know, and that the history of the Roman provinces teaches us to know better and better. This, most admirable of all works of art in the grand manner,
I did drop it
was
then.
merely
Okay,
the beginning.
well, okay.
And the structure to follow was not to prove its
I was
worth
wondering
for
where the fuck
thousands of years.
I started the game with this.
To
and I
this
wonder where
day,
it was.
nothing on a like scale, sub specie aeterni, has been brought into being, or even dreamed of. This organization was strong enough to withstand bad emperors. The accident of personality has nothing to do with such things. The first principle of all genuinely great architecture. But it was not strong enough to stand up against the corruptest of all forms of corruption. Against Christians.
Oh, shit.
These stealthy worms, which, under the cover of night, mist, and duplicity, crept upon every individual, sucking him dry of all earnest interest in real things.
Is that bad?
Of all instinct for reality, this cowardly, effeminate, and sugar-coated gang gradually alienated all souls.
He's
Step by
calling
step,
them that.
from that colossal edifice, turning against it all the meritorious, manly, and noble natures that had found in the cause of Rome their own serious purpose, their own pride. The sneakishness of hypocrisy, the secrecy of the conventicle, concepts as black as hell, such as the sacrifice of the innocent, the unio mysticae in the drinking of blood. Above all,
Wait, they're
the
doing
slowly
that? Holy
rekindled
shit.
fire of revenge, of Chandala revenge. All that sort of thing became master of Rome. The same kind of religion which, in a pre-existent form, Epicurus had combated. One has but to read Lucretius to know what Epicurus made war upon. Not paganism, but Christianity, which is to say, the corruption of souls by means of the concept of guilt, punishment, and immortality. He combated the subterranean cults, the whole of latent Christianity. To deny immortality was already a form of genuine salvation. Epicurus had triumphed, and every respectable intellect in Rome was Epicurean. When Paul appeared, Paul, the Chandala hatred of Rome, of the world in the flesh and inspired by genius, the Jew, the eternal Jew par excellence.
Oh no.
What he saw was how, with the aid of the small sectarian Christian movement that stood apart from Judaism, a world conflagration might be kindled. How, with the symbol of God on the cross, all secret seditions, all the fruits of anarchistic intrigues within the empire
If this were
might be
movie night, I would
amalgamated
have
into
used
one
the meme
immense
reaction
power.
for the
Salvation
eternal.
is of the Jews. Christianity is the formula for exceeding and summing up the subterranean cults of all varieties.
I know
that of
there's two
Osiris,
there.
that of the Great Mother,
It's always been
that of
two
Mithras,
there.
for instance. In his discernment of this fact, the genius of Paul showed itself. His instinct was here so sure that with reckless violence to the truth, he put the ideas which lent fascination to every sort of Chandala religion into the mouth of the Savior. As
Guy
his
doesn't
own
like
inventions,
Chandalas.
and not only into the mouth. He made out of him something that even a priest of Mithras could understand. This was his revelation at Damascus.
I don't think he likes Mithras
He
either.
grasped the fact that he needed the belief in
Is that
immortality
some Final Fantasy
in order
reference?
to rob the world of its value. That the concept of hell would master Rome. That the notion of a beyond is the death of both nihilist and Christian. They rhyme in German, and they do more than rhyme.
Oh, NEET-chi.
59.
Oh, that's NEET-chi.
The whole labor of the ancient world gone.
I'm getting up here. Shut up.
I have no word to describe the feelings that such an enormity of
fucking chunked them. You know what? I'll deal with this later.
Its labor was merely preparatory.
Come on.
That with
right.
adamantine self-consciousness, it laid only the foundations for a work to go on for thousands of years. The whole meaning of antiquity disappears. To what end the Greeks? To what end the Romans? All the prerequisites to a learned culture, all the methods of science were already there. Man had already perfected the great and incomparable art of reading profitably. That first necessity to the tradition of culture, the unity of the sciences, the natural sciences, in alliance with mathematics and mechanics, were on the right road. The sense of fact, the last and most valuable of all the senses, had its schools, and its traditions were already centuries old. Is all this properly understood? Every essential to the beginning of the work was ready, and the most essential, it cannot be said too often, are methods, and also the most difficult to develop, and the longest opposed by habit and laziness. What we have today reconquered, with unspeakable self-discipline for ourselves, for certain bad instincts, certain Christian instincts still lurk in our bodies. That is to say, the keen eye for reality, the cautious hand, patience and seriousness in the smallest things, the whole integrity of knowledge. All these things were already there, and had been there for 2,000 years. More, there was also a refined and excellent tact and taste. Not as mere brain drilling, not as German culture with its loutish manners, but as body, as bearing, as instinct. In short, as reality. All gone for naught. Overnight, it became merely a memory. The Greeks, the Romans, instinctive nobility, taste, methodical inquiry, genius for organization and administration, faith in and the will to secure the future of man, a great yes to everything, entering into the Imperium Romanum and palpable to all the senses, a grand style that was beyond mere art, but had become reality, truth, life.
Sounds pretty cool. Alright, hold on a second. A clothed female. How titillating.
The blog post was part of the Soviet Army's attempt to take control of the situation in the first days following the event.
I'm keeping this. Putting it in my backpack.
There was no way they could have done anything or helped anyone in the city.
No, just go for it.
They all got so sick. And they were confused, disoriented. They had been preparing for war, even nuclear war. But they couldn't have expected something like this. Whatever it was. Whatever it is.
Not existing?
Maybe it's just
all a dream.
Tired of us.
I don't think so. Although maybe. I mean, I don't know why she's saying that. She doesn't exist, and neither do I. We're all hallucinations. I mean, canonically in this, that's what happened. Is that some kind of bizarre superconsciousness was awakened from underneath the earth, and then, people are like, well, there you go. And it absorbed all the people in the town in Petrorsk and Bolotki, and just basically within the entire radius zone. You know what, I should just put this here so that if I ever come here intentionally and need to clean a gun, I just need to bring a ramrod. Oh, look at this. Oh, one of the most useless fucking... Oh, actually... No, wait, the PP91 is it is useless. Oh. Well, this is cool, though. Alright. You know what? Fuck it. There we go. Always bring food. Oh, shit. This is actually useful. In fact, did I accidentally put a bullet in this? Might as well. Okay. 20. Again, another full one. How the hell did the last one I have disappear? Okay. I'll play this again.
All overwhelmed in a night.
I am listening
but
to it.
But not by a convulsion of nature. Not trampled to death by Teutons and others of heavy hoof. But brought to shame by crafty, sneaking, invisible, anemic vampires. Not conquered, only sucked dry. Hidden vengefulness, petty envy became master. Everything wretched, intrinsically ailing and invaded by bad feelings. The whole ghetto world of the soul was once on top. One needs but read any of the Christian agitators, for example, St. Augustine, in order to realize, in order to smell what filthy fellows came to the top. It would be an error, however,
just ripping into them.
There was any lack of understanding in the leaders of the Christian movement. But they were clever to the point of holiness, these fathers of the church. What they lacked was something quite different. Nature neglected, perhaps forgot, to give them even the most modest endowment of respectable, of upright, of cleanly instincts. Between ourselves, they are not even men. If Islam despises Christianity, it has the thousandfold right to do so. Islam at least assumes that it is dealing with men. 60. Christianity destroyed for us the whole harvest of ancient civilization. And later it also destroyed for us the whole harvest of Mohammedan civilization. The wonderful culture of the Moors in Spain, which was fundamentally nearer to us and appealed more to our senses and taste than that of Roman Greek.
What are they again? I don't know.
Was trampled down. I do not say by what sort of feet.
Oh no! Don't go there.
Because
don't do
it had to thank noble and manly instincts for its origin, because it said yes to life, even to the rare and refined luxurious.
Again, it's like Nietzsche defined pretty much everything
Crusaders later made war
that
on
Paul
something before
says
which it
these
would have been
days.
more fitting
The
for them
political
to have
part, I
groveled
mean,
in the dust. A civilization beside which even that of our 19th century seems very poor and very senile.
Is that when you're
living? What they
living?
wanted, of course, was booty. The Orient was rich.
I mean, who
Let
doesn't?
us put aside our prejudices. The Crusades were a higher form of piracy, nothing more.
Paid the ultimate price.
The German nobility, which is fundamentally a Viking nobility, was in its element there. The Church knew only too well how the German nobility was to be won. The German noble, always the Swiss guard of the Church, always in the service of every bad instinct of the Church, but well paid. Consider the fact that it is precisely the aid of German swords and German blood and valor that has enabled the Church to carry through its war to the death upon everything noble on earth. At this point, a host of painful questions suggest themselves.
I'm going to cross this intentionally, see if I can get enemies to come out.
The German nobility stands outside the history of the higher civilization. The reason is obvious. Christianity, alcohol, the two great means of corruption. Intrinsically, there should be no more choice between Islam and Christianity than there is between an Arab and a Jew. The decision is already reached. Nobody remains at liberty to choose here. Either a man is a Chandala or he is not. War to the knife with Rome, peace and friendship with Islam. This was the feeling, this was the act of that great free spirit, that genius among German emperors, Frederick II. What? Must a German first be a genius, a free spirit, before he can feel decently? I can't make out how a German could ever feel Christian.
That's a little too based for my tastes. He's going there.
61.
Again.
It becomes necessary to call up a memory that must be 100 times more painful to Germans. The Germans
World War I.
Europe, the last great harvest of civilization.
I can't imagine Nietzsche would have done well.
The Renaissance.
Reacting to World War I.
Is it understood at last? Will it ever be understood what the Renaissance was? The transvaluation of Christian values, an attempt with all available means, all instincts, and all the resources of genius.
I know there's something up here,
to bring about a triumph of the opposite values, the more noble
triumph
values.
Of something.
This has been the one great war of the past. There has never been a more critical question than that of the Renaissance.
Here's the location where the game usually does not perform very well.
There has never been a form of attack more fundamental, more direct, or more violently delivered by a whole front upon the center of the enemy. To attack at the critical place, at the very seat of Christianity, and there enthrone the more noble values. That is to say, to insinuate them into the instincts, into the most fundamental needs and appetites of those sitting there.
Ooh.
I see before me the possibility of a perfectly heavenly enchantment and spectacle. It seems to me to scintillate with all the vibrations of a fine and delicate beauty.
Ooh.
And within it, there is
Sounds
an art
nice.
so divine, so infernally divine, that one might search in vain for thousands of years for another such possibility. I see a spectacle so rich in significance, at the same time so wonderfully full of paradox, that it should arouse all the gods on Olympus to immortal laughter. Caesar Borgia as Pope. Am I understood? Well then, that would have been the sort of triumph I alone am longing for today. By it, Christianity would have been swept away. What happened? A German monk, Luther, came to Rome. This monk, with all the vengeful instincts of an unsuccessful priest in him, raised a rebellion against the Renaissance in Rome, instead of grasping, with profound thanksgiving, the miracle
What have you got
that had taken
against
place,
him, man?
the conquest of Christianity at its capital. Instead of this, his hatred was stimulated by the spectacle. A religious man thinks only of himself. Luther saw only the depravity of the papacy at the very moment when the opposite was becoming apparent. The old corruption, the peccatum originale, Christianity itself, no longer occupied the papal chair. Instead there was life. Instead there was the triumph of life. Instead there was a great yea to all lofty, beautiful, and daring things. And Luther restored the church. He attacked it. The Renaissance, an event without meaning, a great futility. Ah, these Germans, what they have not cost us. Futility. That has always been the work of the Germans. The Reformation, Leibniz, Kant, and so-called German philosophy, the war of liberation, the empire. Every time, a futile substitute for something that once existed, for something irrecoverable. These Germans, I confess, are my enemies. I despise all their uncleanliness in concept and valuation, their cowardice before every honest yea and nay. For nearly 1,000 years they have tangled and confused everything their fingers have touched. They have on the conscience all the halfway measures, all the 3/8 way measures that Europe is sick of. They also have on their conscience the uncleanest variety of Christianity that exists, and the most incurable and indestructible, Protestantism. If mankind never manages to get rid of Christianity, the Germans will be to blame.
Well, come on, go easy on
62.
them. Go easy on the Germans. They've had a hard life.
With this, I come to a conclusion and pronounce my judgment.
Guilty.
I condemn Christianity. I bring against the Christian church the most
that what the point of all
the
this was?
accusations that an accuser has ever had in his mouth. It is, to me, the greatest of all imaginable corruptions. It seeks to work the ultimate corruption, the worst possible corruption. The Christian church has left nothing untouched by its depravity. It has turned every value into worthlessness, and every truth into a lie, and every integrity into baseness of soul. Let anyone dare to speak to me of its humanitarian blessings. Its deepest necessities range it against any
what are you
effort to
gonna
abolish
do
distress.
about it, NEET-chi?
It lives by distress. It creates
NEET-chi.
distress to make itself immortal. For example, the worm of sin. It was the church that first enriched mankind
From
with
Final
this
Fantasy
misery,
X?
the equality of souls before God, this fraud, this pretext for the rancune of the base-minded, this explosive concept, ending in revolution, the modern era, and the notion of overthrowing the whole social order. This is Christian dynamite. The humanitarian blessings of Christianity,
The worst kind of dynamite.
to breed out of humanitas, a self-contradiction, an art of self-pollution, a will to lie at any price, an aversion,
the opposite of will's
for all the
power?
good and honest instincts. All this, to me, is the humanitarianism of Christianity. Parasitism, as the only practice of the church, with its anemic and holy ideals, sucking all the blood, all the love, all the hope out of life. The beyond, as the will to deny all reality, the cross as the distinguishing mark of the most subterranean conspiracy ever heard of, against health, beauty, well-being, intellect, kindness of soul, against life itself. This eternal accusation against Christianity I shall write upon all walls, wherever walls are to be found. I have letters that even the blind will be able to see. I call Christianity the one great
he's
curse,
not wrong
the one
now, I
great
guess.
intrinsic depravity, the one great instinct of revenge, for which no means are venomous enough or secret, subterranean, and small enough. I call it the one immortal blemish upon the human race. And mankind reckons time from the Dies Nefastus, when this fatality befell, from the first day of Christianity. Why not rather from its last, from today?
I don't know.
The transvaluation of
Just
all
don't know.
values. End the Antichrist by Friedrich Nietzsche. This
A little
recording
judgy.
is in the public domain.
One thing I want to say, I believe, personally, my opinion, that Christianity needs this book. Whatever you think about it, Christianity kind of needs it to either condemn it or to overcome it. It can either only destroy Christianity as it deserves. Ah, yes. Speaking of which. Oh, this is an M9 mag. Sweet. Perfect condition. But what the fuck? Okay, well, if it's gonna stick out like that. I can't believe this is how Antichrist ends. Nietzsche wrote this into the book. Why do you do that? I don't know. I was hoping to toothbrush some guns to this music, but I'm not gonna be able to. I'm out in the field. I ain't got a toothbrush. Shit, you motherfucker. Alright, here we go. We're doing this. There you are. Fuck yeah. Oh, shit. I'm okay. Sweet. music. Too energetic for the kind of creepy exploring. See, that should be the village, right? Nope, this is the village. Oh, this is the helicopter. Oh boy. Pretty way down. I think the max is 50 kg though. I actually finally started playing Doom Eternal last week. Pretty close to finishing it. I started playing on Ultra Violence, which is hard difficulty. One step down from Nightmare, which is the highest, technically. Oh.
Explorers! Oh. It has come to the attention of the United Nations Pictorial Special Committee
United Nations,
circulating as to the origins of the UNPSC, as well as the agency's legitimacy and innovation. This memo is intended to clarify the purpose of the UNPSC and put to rest any doubts about the legality of its activities and the good faith in which they are conducted. When the Pictorial Exclusion Zone was established, in the aftermath of the asteroid strike known as the Threat, there was asteroid surrounding the political status of the exclusion zone. The Russian government has pushed to send it to the
Russians?
claims that the source of the summer sole responsibility. Meanwhile, NATO, which has also sent its troops, argued for the global significance of the exclusion zone and demanded to oversee security and research activities related to it. As three of the members of the UN, creating the United Nations North Special Committee, or UNOC, to ensure that the security of the Pictorial Exclusion Zone would be maintained and research carried out to ensure an international cooperation. Any claims of exploitation of explorers by the UNPSC are not results. Those explorers who remember religion and the world before them may try to mislead otherwise, but they have not seen the global economic, political, and environmental changes in the world. The world outside has become
Is he saying something? What?
Motherfucker. It is when the UNPSC has maintained justice and peace in and around the Pictorial Exclusion Zone. This explains the UNPSC these heroic efforts are invaluable for research scientists in the UNPSC. The UNPSC remains, as always, grateful for your excellent
Fuck you, Fragment.
support of this research.
Delightful. It's like the 8.5 minute version. Oh, this is the wind down part also. Okay, so you know what? Might be a little easier to get through this part. You know what? Manually save too, because I kind of need to. I definitely need to go here. Get these guys. They want me to kill mimics here. Oh shit. No you don't. No you do not. Is that one of those poison gas things? I don't know how to get the gas
The
mask.
Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Oh.
Translated by Lionel Giles.
Okay.
Part 1.
There's only like an
Laying
hour.
Plans. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance
Did he?
to the state.
Oh shit.
It is a matter
Sweet.
of life and death, a road either
I
to
wanted
safety
an
or to
M4.
ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry,
Just
which can on no
another-
account be
okay.
neglected. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are 1. Moral law, 2. Heaven, 3. Earth, 4.
Got one.
The
There's supposed to be 2 here.
5. Method and discipline.
The other one that's shooting it.
The moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. Heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. Earth comprises distances, great and small, danger and security, open grounds and narrow passes, the chances of life and death. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. By method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the graduations of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads, by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure.
Where are you? Oh, there.
These 5 heads should be familiar to every general.
Oh, you
He who knows them will be victorious. He who knows them not will fail.
Suck it.
Therefore, in your deliberations, when seeking to determine the military conditions, let them be made the basis of a comparison in this
There we go.
wise.
Come on, get it.
1.
Get some.
Which of the 2 sovereigns is imbued with the moral
shit.
law?
Whoa.
2.
I'm not getting poisoned
Which
out
of
here.
the 2 generals has most ability? 3. With whom lie the advantages derived from heaven and earth? 4. On which side is discipline most rigorously enforced? 5. Which army is stronger? 6. On which side are officers and men more highly trained? 7. In which army is there the greater constancy both in reward and punishment? By means of these 7 considerations, I can forecast victory or defeat. The general that hearkens to my counsel and acts upon it will conquer. Let such a one be retained in command. The general that hearkens...
I like hearing these.
They're entirely composed of black material and have been observed firing on UMPSC explorers in the field. Directly after the Pechorsk event, both USSR and NATO sent armed forces into the radius to investigate and confront possible threats. Very few of the soldiers returned, and those that did died horribly soon after. Explorers never found any bodies belonging to military personnel in the radius. Over time, some explorers have become more and more convinced that mimics are the lost soldiers from the first days after the event. However, there is nothing about bodies of mimics, apart from their shape, that suggests they were ever human. The UMPSC believes, and I concur, that whatever mechanisms are in place here that produce radius-specific species took the soldiers as a template.
Where's that
but
full
the connection
fragment?
ends there.
Okay. Listening to this, I'm reminded of, there's some 4chan thread, I think recently, or it could have been really old, that was just like, oh, the art of war, it's like, the big military bad, don't fight big military if your military is not as big. Genius! Just making fun of the book. In a way, maybe sort of making fun of the book. What the fuck? I guess it ended on its own. Whatever. Was there another orange box? Just like the orange box by Valve. Speaking of which, 25th anniversary of Half-Life 1. Half-Life 1 is free on Steam right now. For anyone who did not already own it, I can't imagine how you didn't already own it. I thought it was free this whole time. But apparently not. I guess. I don't fucking know. But, wait, where's this pointing? Oh, yeah, I mean, figures. There we go. See, I assume once I finish this quest, it's going to be like, now bring in mimic cores. And it's like, oh boy, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to be required to fight mimics in order to do trash quests. But I'm gonna have to now. At least I built up a bunch of money. I mean, 12,000 bucks is not too bad. I know there's gonna. You know, I don't want to listen to the thing yet. If there's one of those fragments around. Oh, I don't want that around either. Here, say something.
Old people without family to take care of them used to live in this village.
Yeah.
I knew one of them, a woman.
I hear birds
One
chirping.
of my kindergarten teachers. She retired and moved out of the city just a couple years before I finished school. She could have retired earlier, but she loved working with children. So
that's
she
suspicious.
kept working till she couldn't be on her feet so many hours of the day. I don't think she had children of her own. I used to visit her at the kindergarten and later out here. She was hunched over and wrinkled, but as commanding as ever. I wonder what happened to her. She died, of course, but how? What were her final thoughts? I hope she was at peace. No one deserved it more.
Let's see, what is next? I don't know. I just don't want to get caught off guard by that one. Oh, a free screwdriver. That's right. Just a doodad. Oh wait, here's an orange box. Okay. So I mean I could wrap up the stream. Oh boy, I'm starting to get overloaded. But overloaded with good stuff. In fact, this isn't going to help necessarily, but celebration. Basically, reward myself with a cigarette. How much? Wait, yeah, that's right. I started going nuts because of that Doom music. 29 out of 30, I think. What about this? Did I empty this? Why is it? Oh, I don't know why. I think it's because of the cigarette. Okay, it says. I think it says I have 13, which is okay. That's not bad. Should be more than enough to annihilate any fragment who tries to fuck with me. This is weird. This is the village. Very strange. And supposedly there is a shotgun in here. No, fuck. Well, my problem went away. Wait, what the? I thought he was flashing. No, okay. Well, what is this then? What is it, actually? Huh, okay. I guess. I'm almost completely weighed down. If I find that shot, I think it's a long barrel, double barrel shotgun. If I even find it, I'm not sure I can carry it back. Although I can at least pick it up. And this area should be clear. So this will be one of the areas, if I'm doing a kill everything run, eventually. So it'll have to be one of the areas that I go and kill everything. What? No. Okay. This is money, at least. Shit. So anyways, basically, this should be the end of the stream. I could cut this off, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep playing some of this, in fact.
Not to my counsel,
For
nor
now.
acts upon it, will suffer defeat. Let such a one be dismissed.
CS2. Oh yeah, I played CS2.
While heeding the profit of my counsel,
Turn down your mic.
avail
I
yourself
can't hear the
also
rip
of
and
any
tear
helpful
music.
circumstances
Too
over
late
and
now.
beyond the ordinary
Too late.
rules. According as circumstances are favorable, one should modify one's plans. All warfare
Is this
is
where the
based
shotgun
on
is?
deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away.
I always thought this
When
book
far
was just
away,
a series
we must
of
make him
like
believe we are
clipped
near.
short quotes.
Hold out baits
I'm surprised
to
to find out
entice
it
the
isn't.
enemy. Feign disorder and crush him. If he is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. If your opponent is of choleric
really
temper,
just is common
seek
sense,
to
isn't it?
irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. Attack him where
Here's
he
the
is
thing about
unprepared.
this book being obvious things, the meme, at least these days, is, or at least to just goof on them, but maybe not to actually criticize it in earnest. But just joking that this whole book is just obvious things. Then again, 2,000 years ago. But it is still useful advice. Good common sense, in a way, should be something that you shouldn't need to be told. But the thing is that there are a lot of people who will act like, they're like, oh yeah, this is how I always live my life, and they don't. You know, the concept of pretend to be weak, to fucking draw in an enemy. People don't do that. People who say, like, oh yeah, I know all about that, they don't do that. Is there something in here? No, probably not. One of these is climbable, I think, though. I don't actually like being around something like that. Here, in fact, there. Hopefully I'll save. The flare will still be there, although knowing this game, it probably won't. If I load it, but I don't really have to. It just, as long as I don't fucking die. Whoa, what's this? What is this, actually? I don't know. Huh. I do not ever remember. I beat this. I beat 1.0 after 2.0 had been out. But I don't remember any of this. I may have just skipped this village because I didn't need the extra money. I was like, oh, who cares? I'm okay. But, yeah, I feel like I shouldn't have skipped this place. Can I move this? I might be able to. Yes, sweet. Okay. Oh, shit. There's a PPSH drum mag. Definitely got to keep that, because I don't think you can even buy those things. And then the 91, which is, I think, a different gun entirely. Wait, is there something up here? No. Okay, here, I'll just play more of this.
Here, where you are not expected. These military devices, leading to victory, must not be divulged beforehand. Now
Again,
the general who wins a battle makes many
stuff.
calculations in his temple ere the battle is fought. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Thus do many calculations lead to victory, and few calculations to defeat. How much more no calculation at all? It is by attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. End of Part 1.
Oh, that was
Part
it?
2.
That was quick.
Waging War.
Part 2.
Sun Tzu said, in the operations of war, where there are in the field 1,000 swift chariots, as many heavy chariots, and 100,000 mail-clad soldiers, with provisions enough to carry them 1,000 li, the expenditure at home and at the front, including entertainment of guests, small items such as glue and paint, and sums spent on chariots and armor, will reach the total of 1,000
Remember the
ounces
part
of
of Art
silver
of War
per day.
about glue?
Such is the cost
What?
of raising an army of 100,000 men. When you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, then men's weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be damped. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. Again, if the campaign is protracted, the resources of the state will not be equal to the strain. Now, when your weapons are dulled, your ardor damped, your strength exhausted, and your treasure spent, other chieftains will spring up to take advantage of your extremity. Then no man, however wise, will be able to avert the consequences that must ensue. Thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been seen associated with long delays. There is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. It is only one who is thoroughly acquainted with the evils of war that can thoroughly understand the profitable way of carrying it on. The skilful soldier does not raise a second levy. Neither are his supply wagons loaded more than twice. Bring war material with you from home, but forage on the enemy. Thus the army will have food enough for its needs.
So take
Poverty
things from
of the
your
state
enemy.
exchequer causes an army to be
Crafty
maintained by
genius.
contributions from a distance. Contributing to maintain an army at a distance causes the people to be impoverished. On the other hand, the proximity of an army causes prices to go up, and high prices cause the people's substance to be drained away. When their substance is drained away, the peasantry will be afflicted by heavy exactions. With this loss of substance and exhaustion of strength, the homes of the people will be stripped bare, and 3/10 of their income will be dissipated, while government expenses for broken chariots, worn-out horses, breastplates and helmets, bows and arrows, spears and shields, protective mantles, draft oxen, and heavy wagons will amount to 4/10 of its total revenue. Hence, a wise general makes a point of foraging on the enemy. 1 cartload of the enemy's provisions is equivalent to 20 of one's own, and likewise a single picul of his provender is equivalent to 20 from one's own store. Now, in order to kill the enemy, our men must be roused to anger. That there may be advantage from defeating the enemy, they must have their rewards. Therefore, in chariot fighting, when 10 or more chariots have been taken, those should be rewarded who took the first. Our own flags should be substituted for those of the enemy, and their chariots mingled and used in conjunction with ours. The captured soldiers should be kindly treated and kept. This is called using the conquered foe to augment one's own strength. In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. Thus it may be known that the leader of armies is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. End of Part 2. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario by Moira Fogarty, October 2006.
What does Toronto have to do with this shit?
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Moira Fogarty. The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles. Part 3.
Of the J.
Attack
Giles
by
Band.
Stratagem.
Oh, no, I guess not.
Sun Tzu said, "In the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. To shatter and destroy it is not so good. So, too, it is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it. To capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them.
Oh boy,
Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting.
You know what, let's see.
Thus, the highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans. The next best is to prevent the junction of the enemy's forces. The next in order is to attack the enemy's army in the field. And the worst policy of all is to besiege walled cities. The rule is not to besiege walled cities if it can possibly be avoided. The preparation of mantlets, movable shelters, and various implements of war will take up 3 whole months, and the piling up of mounds against the walls will take 3 months more.
Theoretically, just travel
the general,
down this road,
unable to control his irritation, will launch his men to the assault like swarming ants, with the result that 1/3 of his men are slain, while the town still remains untaken. Such are the disastrous effects of a siege. Therefore, the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege to them. He overthrows their kingdom without lengthy operations in the field. With his forces intact, he will dispute the mastery of the empire, and thus, without losing a man, his triumph will be complete.
There we go.
This is the method of attacking by stratagem. It is the rule in war, if our forces are 10 to the enemy's 1, to surround him; if 5 to 1, to attack him; if twice as numerous, to divide our army into 2. If equally matched, we can offer battle; if slightly inferior in numbers, we can avoid the enemy; if quite unequal in every way, we can flee from him. Hence, though an obstinate fight may be made by a small force, in the end it must be captured by the larger force.
Should it?
Now the general is the bulwark of the state.
I don't know.
If the bulwark is complete at all points, the state will be strong. If the bulwark is
will it? If it's weak, then what happens if the other thing? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna slow walk this all the way back home. Not gonna stream that. So, thanks for everyone showing up, hanging out, and chat. You come in here with balls. We're able to do these streams because of people like you. Support us on Subscribestar to get access to the real videos, the meat and the good stuff. Shitty Webcomics Weekly every Wednesday also. And we'll see you next time. And for everyone else, sure to listen to Shitty Webcomics.